See. Hello everyone, this is an interview from House of Feminine. I am Rachel Gedney and I am delighted today to be welcoming Glenda Smithson all the way from Spain. So welcome, Glenda.
Hi Rachel, welcome.
Welcome
to sunny Spain.
Yes, and it's not sunny here either. So I wish I was there already. The reason, just before we get going, the reason for this interview is that I am co-hosting a retreat in the UK in September, and it's for ladies who want to make an income whilst traveling or relocating abroad. So it's really over to you now to tell us your story. Where you're from originally, how old you are, where exactly you are in Spain, and what prompted this in the first place.
Okay, well, it's a long story, which I will keep nice and brief for you. But 15 years ago yesterday, I was living in Norwich, which is where I'm from originally, and I had a car accident. And my business was then as an accountant with my own practice of around 100 small companies, sole traders, partnerships, etc. And the car accident actually meant that I had to take 3 months off work. And of course, at the same time, my husband was being made redundant from his printing job in London. And it all came together and we decided that we no longer wanted this life in the UK, that we wanted to start something new and follow our dream. And our dream was to retire to Spain and earn a living by providing holidays with horses to individuals from all over the world in rural Spain.
Fabulous.
And to integrate as much as we possibly could with a tiny little village in Spain.
Oh, lovely.
So in January 2004, we sold our house in Norwich. We loaded up a caravan with all of our belongings, including 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a hamster, and set out on the long drive down to southern Spain. Where we had bought a cave house in the middle of the mountains near Granada. So 3 days later, we arrived at said cave house and embarked on this particular part of the journey, which we had to renovate the cave house, we had to source horses, we had to integrate, we had to learn the language. All sorts of challenges. But we had a fantastic time. Everyone welcomed us. Everyone helped us with our project, were very enthusiastic for us. But about a year into that particular location, we were finding it difficult to get people to actually book with us, because we felt it was quite remote and it was a good 2.5 hour drive from any airport. And we thought it was off-putting to our clients, and decided that before we plough any more of our funds into it, which we'd already ploughed a considerable amount into, we would sell up and move somewhere a bit more accessible for clients to come on holiday. When I say accessible, more accessible to airports and transport and services.
Yeah.
So we did that. So we sold everything again, got in our car, drove to Costa del Sol, where I got a job in Marbella as an accountant again.
You went back.
And went right back, yeah. And worked as an accountant in that job for a year, and then ended up moving work to Gibraltar, where I have been working ever since, still as an accountant, whilst building our business with the horse riding.
Right.
So the current situation with the horse riding is we have a fantastic ranch in Mijas, which is 30-minute drive from Malaga.
Wow. Yeah.
We have 15 horses that are used in the business.
Mm-hmm.
We have additional horses which are our own private horses that we ride, and we have around 20 clients' horses on livery with us.
Wow, sounds idyllic.
We have a self-catering cottage which accommodates 4 people comfortably, 6 at a squeeze, and we're currently refurbishing 4 stables which will make another 2 units of double accommodation. And I'm training to be an equine Pilates instructor, and we'll be adding that to the business next spring.
Wow, that sounds very exciting. Equine Pilates.
Well, Pilates for riders, it is. Actually.
Right, okay.
It's not horse Pilates.
It's because I could just see them.
Pilates, but specific to horse riders.
Sounds absolutely fantastic. It sounds
amazing. So that's where we are.
What age were you when you went there then? So this was what, 14 years ago, did you say?
2004, so 13 right. years ago. I was 41.
Right. Okay. So yeah.
I'm currently 53.
Yeah.
I'll be 54 shortly.
It's amazing how in these interviews, my co-host has been doing some interviews, and so many of the ladies are 50 plus. You know, I think there's one in her 60s as well. So it does seem to be this common theme. I mean, we just struck an amazing chord with this. And it was just a thing I said, you know, we should interview some people who are currently either traveling or living abroad. And so, I mean, she was in Turkey, and she's done some videos from Turkey. So you've moved around. I know we've already had a conversation anyway. We've connected as I'm moving to Spain, but you've moved around a bit, haven't you, in Spain? So how was that?
With the horse riding holidays? Yes, we took about 3 years out. Excuse me. We took about 3 years without having a business at all, and just worked and found. Looking around, looking for accommodation, finding our feet. It's completely different as you move around. Mm-hmm. The areas are all so very different. You have to learn the culture, you have to learn where people are, what they do.
Right.
And just get your feet in and understand the demographics of the area.
Yeah.
So we did that for about 3 years without having the horses, whilst we were looking for suitable locations.
Okay.
And the first one we started with was in a place called Casares, which is a small mountain village, which was lovely. We haven't actually bought property since we bought and sold the cave house. We've been renting ever since, because we found, although we were lucky enough to sell the cave house, from experience from our friends and family and other acquaintances, we realised that it's not always easy to sell property when you need to. Right. So we've ended up going down the rental route so that we can actually move if required. Okay. Hence, we have moved several times.
Was it all
trying to find the right location?
Right. Was it all within a certain area, though?
Yes, we've been between Marbella and Gibraltar. Basically, we moved around.
Okay.
And now we're the other side of Marbella, between Marbella and Malaga.
Okay. So did you bought out there? So did you sell up here completely?
Yes, we did.
Right, so you've got nothing to come back to.
No, absolutely everything was either sold, given away, or piled into the caravan.
Oh gosh, so you've really made the move completely. Nothing left here to come back to. So I mean, I don't want to get into this. Obviously, we haven't got enough time. But Brexit, that's not going to cause a problem, is it?
For us, no, because we've been...
Oh, you've frozen.
Been here 13 years. We pay into the social, we pay for all legal reasons.
Right. Okay. So that's good.
We still hold UK passports, but
Right.
we do have the residency for Spain. So
Right.
it as far as we're concerned, it should.
You're fine. No, yeah, because there's mixed feelings about this right now. You know, there's a lot of
there will be.
Yeah, you know, people who have been there a long time. I suppose it's a lot easier for you. So I'm sure you've had highlights. I know we've chatted quite a bit. You've had highlights and you've had some challenges. So what would you say was your biggest highlight and your biggest challenge?
Okay, our biggest highlight was, I mean, there have been many, obviously, but the very first night we arrived at our cave house, we pulled up with our caravan and our four-wheel drive and our animals, and we set about making a camp for the night, basically, because we couldn't live in the cave at that time. So we unloaded everything from the caravan into a stable to sleep in the caravan. And as we were doing this, it was getting dark. And as it got darker, it was a moonless night. It was pitch black. There was no light pollution at all. And the stars were the most incredible.
Oh, it's frozen again.
Either of us have ever seen. It was like a blanket of stars. And we were just blown away by it.
Oh, how wonderful. Yeah, I remember that from my childhood when we lived in Iran. It was just phenomenal seeing the constellations.
It really was. It really was. We sat for hours just staring at the stars.
It just makes you cry. It really does. It just makes you realize how insignificant you are. And you just can't get that when you're in a town or city with all the lights and things. You just don't get it at all, which is a shame. I mean, we're on the coast, but it's still not as clear as that. That must have been magical. So what about your biggest challenge?
It was. Biggest challenge. Learning the language has been a challenge because particularly we learned the language initially where we moved to, only to find out when we moved to Marbella that we had learned some
the connection
would understand in a million language, which was no resemblance. Have we lost you?
Yeah, you froze. Yeah, just say it again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When we learned the language, did you get that? The challenge was learning the language.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just a different.
Our first experience was learning it in the village that we moved to, which was a very rural dialect that nobody understood when we moved to Marbella.
Yeah.
And we had to start all over again.
Oh gosh, that must have been a nightmare. It's a difference, I suppose, between.
It really was.
Yeah, it's like Catalan, which is different, isn't it? So yeah. So yeah. It's the same in Germany, in different places of Germany. I know my sister did a German degree and she spent 4 years doing that and burst into tears when she got to Bavaria because she couldn't understand a word. So she was heartbroken. So it must be hard in that regard. So
it is hard, and also you find certainly here on the Costa del Sol, you try to speak Spanish to people and you're not very confident, or you don't get the pronunciation right and they don't understand you and they speak back to you in English.
Yeah. So it doesn't help that much.
It doesn't help you learn. It really doesn't help you learn. They don't say, I'm sorry, you haven't pronounced that properly. What do you mean? They
No,
just go into English.
English. Yeah,
And it
unfortunately.
doesn't help.
No, not at all. So with all of this adventure, what have you learned about yourself?
Oh, so much, so much. In the beginning, I learned that I didn't need all of the trappings of modern living.
Yeah.
I could manage with having a washing machine that had to go on with a generator once a week. I managed with an outdoor shower. I managed without my hairdryer, my straighteners, anything.
Yeah, it is amazing what you don't need.
You really don't. I've learned so much about learning, actually, and self-development.
Right.
Because I think as you develop a business, you develop yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to learn new skills. You have to become a marketer. You have to become an accountant, which I already was. You have to learn about web design. Even if you can't build your own website, you need to know what it is, what it does, how it works, how you can update it, what's nice, what's helpful, search engine optimization, and then you have to think, well, how am I going to get it out there?
Yeah.
And most of us starting businesses don't have thousands to flood the market with advertising, so we try and do it through whatever means we can. And you learn all of that, but you're also juggling living in a new country, making new friends, mixing with different nationalities. Currently at our yard, our livery clients, we have French, we have German, we have Dutch, we have Scandinavian, we have English, we have Spanish, we have Venezuelan. So it's a huge mix of cultures.
Yes.
And you learn to be more tolerant of people. You learn to be I don't know. I think most of all, you're on this huge self-development learning curve.
Yeah. And
you continue with that, I think, as long as you continue in the business.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Self-develop.
Yeah. Completely.
Which has led me to my Pilates now, which
sounds very fascinating.
I was in the UK last week on my first week's course, and there were 6 of us ladies on the course. 2 of them were 64.
Wow.
One of them was the same age as myself.
Wow.
The other one was 45, and the youngest was 38.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really encouraging.
And we were a real mix of backgrounds, all where we are in our lives, where we are in our careers, where we are in our businesses. But we've all decided to self-develop and learn this new trade, I guess. Yeah. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah, it sounds
new
fabulous.
Profession.
Yeah. Well, we're starting to wrap up now. So would you recommend this to other people who are thinking of moving abroad to another country? You definitely.
Most definitely.
So you wouldn't change a thing, even with everything that you've gone through?
No, I've enjoyed the ups and the downs.
Fabulous.
I've learned a huge amount.
Yeah.
And I've had mostly a while of a time.
So what are your
continue to do so?
Fabulous. So what are your most valuable tips then for people who are thinking of moving abroad?
I wouldn't rush to buy a property.
Right.
I would test the water.
Mm-hmm.
Rent what you think is your ideal, because it probably will turn out not to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you will move several times before you find your ideal.
Yeah.
Come with an open mind.
Mm.
and be open to any opportunity that comes your way.
Fantastic. That's just great, Glenda. So, so what's next for you? Just building this into your business, this Pilates thing? Yeah, you're settled
what's next
now.
for me is I leave my full-time accounting job on the 31st of August.
Ooh,
Be full-time in my business.
that's exciting. Really exciting. Yeah.
Very exciting.
Fabulous.
And continue to develop that.
Wonderful. So leading on to that, where can people find you then?
Okay, my company is called Rancho Asabuchal. I'm on Facebook.
Wonderful.
You can hook up with me there.
You're lovely.
And my website is ranchoasabuchal.co.uk.
Great. I'll get that and put it below the video. That's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I mean, this is all because I'm co-hosting this retreat in September in Glastonbury, actually, in the UK. It's an introductory retreat, and it is all about ladies that want to either travel, as my co-host is a traveller, a digital nomad, and those of us who want to live abroad, like me, more of a lifestyle entrepreneur. The travelling doesn't appeal to me, but certainly coming to live in Spain is on the cards for me. So for me, that's from the 22nd to the 24th of September in the UK, and that's on my website, which is thewisdommentor.org/events. And it's been lovely catching up with you again, Glenda, because we've already spoken once, which has been great because I lived in Norwich too. So we connected through another group. And I can't wait to come out there and meet you and ride your horses, because I'm an ex-horse rider, as you know. So thank you very much for this, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Glenda. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.